Hi there, and thanks for joining us this noon. I'm Alexis Rogers. We have a lot of news happening right now. We're starting off with some breaking news in Richfield, where a house has exploded, injuring a woman. Let's get right out to Gordon Severson, who's been there for the past couple of hours. Gordon, what can you tell us?
Yeah, this is the home here behind me. As you can see, just about a half hour ago, they actually pushed down the roof of the building. But when we got here this morning, there was obvious signs of an explosion. The walls were pushed out, the windows were blown out. The fire chief tells me that the first people that were here were actually Hennepin County deputies because they were in the neighborhood serving a warrant. They got the call, they came out here, and they heard one person screaming for help. They were able to pull that person to safety. A family member tells me that the owner here actually tells me that it was her mother who was inside the home, and she had a minor head injury from being thrown because of the explosion, but she is expected to be okay. Fire officials were worried about this second home over here, the fire spreading over there, but they tell me that the wind kind of helped them out with that. It did not catch fire, but they did find another fire at actually a house 3 houses down over here. There was a shed behind this tan house over here, as you can see behind me here. Fire officials believe that a piece of debris flew from this house because of the explosion, landed in that shed in the backyard, and started the shed on fire. We spoke with the owner of that home and that shed, and he said it's a total loss. They're still trying to figure out exactly what kind of debris flew over there. Now, they are still investigating to figure out exactly how this fire started. Their working theory is that it's some sort of a gas leak, some sort of a gas explosion. You can see behind me here, there is a pile of dirt here next to the street. We did see CenterPoint Energy out here earlier this morning digging that hole, possibly looking at some sort of a gas line. But at this time, they're not 100% sure if that is how the fire started. But there's obviously a lot of action still going on here. They're still looking into the house, looking for hot spots, making sure it doesn't ignite again. We're going to stay here at the scene and continue to work with fire officials to see if we can get any more information here in the next couple of minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you for digging. We'll see you very soon. Well, another breaking story happening right now in Woodbury. Authorities tell us the SWAT team and police are responding to some kind of situation at the Target store in Valley Creek Plaza. This is video from Sky 11 just minutes ago. If you live in that immediate area, you're being asked to stay where you are. Do not go anywhere near the Valley Creek Plaza. If we learn anything more about the situation, we'll be sure to pass it along. The trial is underway in what federal prosecutors call the largest pandemic-era fraud cases in the country, and it's happening in downtown Minneapolis. It comes 2 years after a sweeping investigation into the nonprofit Feeding Our Futures and its affiliates. So, Cece, this has been a long time coming. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so that trial actually got underway just a few hours ago at 9 this morning. Prosecutors have charged 70 people, but the first 7 defendants are standing trial together starting today. So here's what we know so far. This initial trial involves an operation in Shakopee, where 2 of the defendants claim to have served millions of meals to kids in 2020 and 2021. But instead, prosecutors say they and others stole $30 million in federal funds they weren't entitled to. Prosecutors say the defendants claim to be serving meals to kids in places that make no sense, like a big parking lot or in a rundown commercial space. Court documents show they supported their scheme with fake attendance sheets with kids' names like John Doe. So what did they do with all that money? Well, prosecutors say they'll trace how the defendants used the federal money to buy vehicles, real estate, a down payment on a $2.5 million home build, and a honeymoon in the Maldives. Attorneys for the defendants say they didn't knowingly defraud the government.
So how long could this trial possibly take?
Yeah, so we're told that this could really last a minute, but they're thinking maybe a month or 2.
Wow. Thank you for following it for us, Cece. Well, it's Earth Day. Mother Nature is giving us a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of rain. Ben, when should we be prepared for these showers?
Well, I think they're going to be very hit and miss, and it's going to be a pretty tight window later this afternoon, probably between like 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. That's when we're timing a frontal system to work its way through east central Minnesota. And you can see where that front is based on the current wind speed and direction. Notice out ahead of that front where we are, the wind is from the southwest and it is rather gusty. We've already seen wind gusts over 30 miles per hour. And notice in the far western part of the state, see that kink in the wind direction? That's where the front is right now, and we can also see a couple of stray showers riding along that front, just starting to work into the far western part of the state. So again, timing that thing out as it works its way across the state this afternoon. We're thinking right during the evening commute is when we expect a few of these showers to show up. Now, not everybody is forecast to get wet, but that's our best window of seeing the showers, and we have a similar window as we head into tomorrow. Right now, we are seeing some bonus sunshine. Out ahead of that front, we're just seeing the high wispy cirrus clouds at the moment. Temperatures are rather warm. We're about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, already in the mid 60s. We'll work our way into the upper 60s by this afternoon before some rain chances start to show up again between about 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. We'll time out additional chances for rain later this week and a big wet system arriving by Friday. More details on that coming up, Alexis.
Ben, thank you. Opening statements got underway a few hours ago in the criminal trial against former President Donald Trump, with the first witnesses testifying. But court is already out for the day. Former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker was the first witness for the prosecution. He's described as a central figure in the alleged scheme to bury claims from women who said they had affairs with Trump. The former president faces 34 counts of falsifying business records related to hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Well, we're still waiting to learn more this noon about an apparent police chase that ended in a crash early this morning in St. Michael. It was all caught on camera. MnDOT cameras show police chasing a pickup truck near Highway 101 and 53rd Street Northeast. Officers then performed a pit maneuver near an exit ramp. The suspect's vehicle rolls over. Soon, the fire department arrived to help someone remove someone from the truck. And minutes later, a Lifelink helicopter landed, taking the patient from the scene. We have calls out to the Wrights County Sheriff's Office for more information. Well, Minneapolis police are investigating a string of car thefts happening in the span of just 2 hours. MPD tells us there were at least 8 incidents of thefts or attempted thefts in northeast Minneapolis yesterday between noon and 2 p.m. Still not clear right now if the same suspects are responsible for all of these thefts. So far, no one's been arrested. An update for you to a big story we've been following. The man Hennepin County deputies were trying to arrest before a deadly shootout is now in custody. Joshua Ramos was arrested Thursday in St. Paul. Law enforcement sources tell us Ramos was the person deputies had an arrest warrant for when they went to a home nearly 2 weeks ago. Another man, Clint Hoyta, reportedly answered the door and started firing at officers. Deputies shot and killed him. Just into our newsroom minutes ago from the state capitol, Governor Walz has announced his 2 appointees to sit on the Minnesota Supreme Court. From 6 finalists, Walz is appointing Court of Appeals Judge Theodora Gaidas and Stearns County Chief Judge Sarah Hennessy. They will replace Justice G. Barry Anderson, who served for almost 20 years and is the last Republican-nominated justice on the bench. He announced his retirement back in January, and days later, so did Justice Margaret Chudich. She served the last 8 years as the first openly gay person to be seated on the bench. The new additions means the court will have a female majority. Well, in less than 4 hours, students in the Anoka-Hennepin School District are holding a rally in protest of the district's proposed budget cuts. Just before the district's board meeting, students plan to start a march from the Anoka-Hennepin County Government Center. At the meeting, they plan to voice their concerns about the proposed cuts, which the group calls contrary to the values of inclusivity and equity in their community. Right now, the district is dealing with a $20 million budget deficit. The board needs to approve a budget by July 1st, or else the state's largest district could shut down.